My name is Destiny Lujan, and today I will be presenting Treaty of Versailles, which is a demonstration of a failed compromise. Treaty of Versailles, the compromise of one war that later ignited another. 11:15 a.m. on June 28, 1914, in the Bosnian capital Sarajevo, Austrian Archduke Franz Ferdinand, wife Sophie, and Duchess of Lauenburg were shot dead. Gavrilo Princip, Bosnian Serb, was the shooter. Austria convicted the Serbian government, which was in charge of the terrorist attack. They were also known as the Black Hand. This was indeed correct because the Serbian government had trained and equipped Gavrilo and his group. This was crucial because this was the climax on whether or not war would be declared. July 23rd, Austria and ally Hungary presented a ridiculous ultimatum to Serbia with a 48-hour response limit. Serbia demanded that some of Austria and Hungary's demands be referred to the powers of other Europeans. With Austria denying their wishes, on July 28, war was declared on Serbia. With the war strengthening and allies becoming more involved, conflict increased. Before the war had started, Britain and Germany had already been in dispute. This is because Germany thought that Britain was trying to keep it from becoming a world power. They came to an agreement and had signed a treaty that Belgium was neutral. However, Britain wanted to assure that Belgium would be neutral by claiming war on Germany, hence a failed compromise. The last battle was Marne, fought on September 8th through the 10th of 1914. This battle, the German troops were incapable to gain victory, so they retreated 50 miles north of the Marne River, leaving the opposing side with victory. When the Treaty of Versailles was being published, Germany was feeling hopeless. Embarrassment filled their spirit, for they lost the battle which costed them the war. Now the treaty would be implemented. The main architects of the treaty were David Lloyd George of Britain. Representing Italy was Vittorio Orlando, George Clemenceau of France, and United States President Woodrow Wilson. President Wilson gave a speech to Congress on the 8th of January, 1918. He presented 14 points, which is an outline of the United States war aims. He strongly believed that this was a cure for justice and for everlasting peace. He then proposed his 14 points at the Paris Peace Conference, but they considered it to be controversial by America's allies. Although they denied the president's 14 points, the base of the Germany's surrendered agreement was evolved around them. This was barely a compromise. Germany was not allowed to negotiate the terms. If they refused, they would be invaded. This Versailles was called a diktat, a dictated peace. When the Germans lost the war, it was their punishment to sign the treaty. With this, hatred grew more and more. The treaty stated that the land would be lost from Germany and that their soldiers' population would be cut in half.
1/7 of the German Empire is partitioned. In the west, Alsace-Lorraine. In the east, Posen, West Prussia, and parts of Silesia. The greatest blow is the assignment of sole war guilt to Germany.
Reparations was another demand, which required Germany to pay the repairs of all the damage that was caused from the war. The first problem was to work out how much money Germany was to owe. The amount was changed multiple times during 1919 through 1921. Eventually, in April 1921, the League of Nations agreed to 6.6 billion euros. With such a high amount of money due, Germany's people were devastated. They fell into a deep depression.
Les Allemands avaient voulu faire la guerre, eh bien,
The Germans had wanted the war. They were defeated and had to pay for it.
Et ils payaient.
That's the way it goes. And they have paid. As the saying goes, woe to the vanquished. We wanted revenge, and we got it.
This shows how the forced compromise had such a dramatic effect. This led to an uprising of Adolf Hitler. The Treaty of Versailles had an enormous contribution to the segregation the Germans felt with their fellow citizens, democratic government, and actions of the military. This made Germany vulnerable and an easy target for Hitler. The Treaty of Versailles had caused such an economical stress on everyone, and Hitler persuaded the people with the promise that they can take charge once again. In the introduction to Hitler's world domination speeches, he began with reopening the wounds and pain the treaty had caused and fertilized hatred within the people. It didn't help that the treaty was enforced loosely. Germany wasn't following the rules of the treaty. This would then lead to a genocide of a human race. We call this World War II.